it's Khaki. I actually had thought about doing a different video this week, had everything lined up. Then last week, I listened to a podcast from two very influential weight loss bariatric surgery people, Tanya and Teresa Marie. I really enjoy their content. I suggest if you haven't listened to their podcast, check it out. Last week, they did an episode about their experience with skin removal and plastic surgery. And quite honestly, I wanted to kind of counterbalance that. Not that I don't give credence to what they said and to their experiences not being genuine. But I've got to say, had I listened to their podcast before I had skin removal and plastics, I would have been scared to death and I may not have had it. And it was something that I really feel like has added to my quality of life. So I want to kind of counterbalance that. Let's talk about it. First off, let's talk about their experience that they talked about. Both of them basically said that they were miserable after their skin removal. That I think Teresa said that she cried for days afterwards. Tanya said that you had to have help with you to stay with you. They both talked about all the equipment that they required. I think that Tanya stayed in a recovery house, which she said she felt like was vital. Tanya talked about her husband and her nephew and sister being with her 24/7 and just a lot of things that were not my experience. So I want to tell you my experience and what I have heard from patients that I feel like is probably closer to what I'm going to share with you. Just a reminder, I had RNY, gastric bypass, almost 4 years ago now. And about a year and a half after that, I had skin removal from my abdomen and an arm lift skin removal that was extended, that went all the way down to my bra line, went through my chest wall. I've got to fix that necklace. It's getting on my nerves. There we go. So, very extensive. I had those two things at the same time. Then, about a year and a half ago, I had a breast lift and a 360 upper body lift, so a back lift. So the incision went completely around. When I had the tummy tuck, it went well past around almost to the top of my rear end. Just for context, when I had the uh, first round of plastics, the skin removal off my abdomen and my arm lift, I took off 2 weeks of work. I did that because I was scared. I had heard other people say, oh, I took 6 weeks off, I took 8 weeks off. I did not need that 2 weeks. I could have, and of course, I work in an office setting, I could have easily gone back to work in a week. My pain level was not very high. I did take pain medication probably the first 3 or 4 days after that surgery, but it was not unbearable. I did not require a walker. I did not require a lift chair, which both of them said you had to have. I did not require a toilet razor. The I did not have anybody stay with me. As I've shared on this channel, my husband and I have different houses. I have a house that I stay at a couple of days a week that is near my office, and then we have a house together in Murfreesboro, which is near about 45 minutes from my office. So I stayed by myself. My sister, who is an RN, lives across the street from my house near my office. So she was in and out. I did not require assistance in bathing or toileting. She was there the first couple of days while I bathed, but I did not have to have her help me. I did not have to have her prepare meals for me. I think she did the first couple, but I could have done it on my own. I do recommend, if you look back at those videos that I did right afterwards, I do recommend prepping meals ahead of time so that it's a simple matter of putting it in the microwave. You're not going to eat a lot those first couple of days. But it wasn't that bad, folks. Listening to their experiences, I would have been scared to death. Here's the thing I did do for that surgery. I did get a grabber, one of those little $10 things on Amazon, which I used. I did buy a very inexpensive recliner on Amazon. I think I paid $95 for it. I still have it. Um, I did have a shower chair. I think that's very important. I did have drains turned out for a month. So, a lanyard that you wear around your neck that you can clip your drain to when you take a shower, very important. I did not require, even though I had compression on my arms and my stomach, I didn't really require help getting in and out of it. Maybe that first day my sister kind of supervised and was there if I needed it, but I did not require somebody to do it for me. I know they both talk about just sitting in the recliner and just being so out of it and groggy. I was not. Fast forward to my last round of plastics and skin removal. As I said, I had an incision 360 upper body. I had a lot of tissue removed from my breast. I took 3 days off work. I did not take off. I know during the podcast they were talking about somebody had written to them and said they only had 4 days that they could take off, and they basically said, you can't do it. You can do it. I did it. I'm not a tough guy. My experience was very different. For that surgery, I did have, if you look back at the video, I had an episode the night of the surgery where I almost passed out. I think it was because anesthesia, and I had taken some pain medicine and my blood pressure dropped. After that, I took no pain medicine. I took Tylenol and I was okay. I did not have excruciating pain. I was fine. I did sleep in that $95 recliner for a few days. Another thing that I did buy with my first surgery that I recommend and use my second surgery was a wedge system from Amazon. It was less than $100. That way, when you transition from sleeping in the recliner to sleeping in your bed, you can be propped up. You don't need an expensive chairlift. So, that surgery, like I said, I went back to work in 3 days. After my gastric bypass, I went back to work in 3 days. Again, office work, not on a line, not doing a lot of lifting, but I was fine. I had 2 drains with that surgery that I kept for less than a week. With my first round, I had that drain for a month. I went back to work. I just, I had to. I made it work. I feel like getting up and being mobile is so important. Maybe because I'm in healthcare, maybe because I know that. Nobody had to, I didn't require somebody to say, get up and walk, Kenda. I got up and walked. I felt like getting up and walking. I knew that that was the key to getting those gas pains down, especially after the tummy tuck. So, the things that you actually need after plastics, after skin removal, let's talk about that. I would recommend a recliner. It doesn't have to be expensive. It certainly does not have to be a chairlift. If you don't have a recliner, get a $95 recliner on Amazon. A grabber, $10. It'll help. Uh, a shower chair or a lawn chair that is waterproof. You don't have to have anything expensive. Like I said, that lanyard to hang your drain on. I do recommend buying, they talked about this, whatever compression garment that your plastic surgeon puts you in, buy an extra one so that you can interchange those. Be washing one while you're wearing the other. And that's it, folks. One other thing, a notebook for you to write down when you take your medicine. If you are sent home My plastic surgeon, I know Tanya talked about that she felt like she took pain medicine longer than she needed to the first go around. That wasn't an option with my plastic surgeon. You got 10 pain pills and that was it. And as I said, I didn't need those. Even with that first one. With the second, I only took one. But you need a notebook to write down when you take your pain medicine, if you have any post op antibiotics, if you have muscle relaxers. That way you can have that reminder. You do need to make a nest. Get all of the things that you want, like your computer, your chargers, a bed light, whatever, beside you. You don't want to be doing that when you get home. But, folks, it's very doable. As I said, I think my gastric bypass, I don't think anybody stayed with me that night. My sister was available, so I stayed by myself. My first round of plastics, my sister spent the night, the first night, just to be there. My second round of plastics, she spent the night, but both times I didn't require somebody to take care of me really. It was more of a security safety thing. So don't let other people's experiences, while their experiences are valid, I'm sure that they are not dramatizing. I'm sure that's what happened. But in my experience, that is the exception. So just know that. Take that into consideration. Take that into your plan. You can do this even if you're like me and you have to go back to work soon. You're going to be okay. I would love to hear from you. What was your experience if you've had skin removal and plastics? What are your concerns about that? What questions do you have about that process? I would love to hear suggestions for videos, for future videos. Would also love to hear where you're at in your journey, any concerns that you have. Guys, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.